At the start of the movie, a man talks about the Jatarangabart people, a group of ferocious warriors whose courage and valor were admired by people from all over. He further explains that the first Jatarangabart warriors were formed in 1605 after the Thai army suffered mass elephant casualties during war. Their only purpose was to protect the elephants and take good care of them. For this, they developed a brutal form of martial art called Muay Thai. Hearing this, his son, Kham, becomes intrigued and expresses his desire to become one of them. He then forms an inseparable bond with a male elephant named Poryai. In the next scene, Poryai wanders into the woods with a female elephant. This worries Kham as he assumes his friend is leaving him, but his father calms him down, mentioning that Poryai will come back. The movie then cuts to a few years later, where Poryai and the female elephant, Cup, have given birth to a healthy calf named Corn. Kham has also grown up to become a deadly Jatarangabart warrior. One day, as Corn is grazing in the field, some poachers suddenly surround him, but before they can take him away, his parents rush to rescue him. As the poachers begin to flee, one of them accidentally fires his gun, and it hits Cup. Unfortunately, she passes away, and little Corn is left without a mother. Kham is devastated by this, but he vows to protect Poryai and Corn at any cost. A few weeks later, while Kham is out with Corn, his father approaches them and mentions the importance of strong elephants. He reveals that the best elephants in the country are selected for the royal king. For this, a very intense selection process is conducted, and only the mightiest of elephants can pass. In the next scene, Kham's village starts preparing for an annual festival named Songkran Water Festival. Meanwhile, Mr. Suthep, a local MP, is throwing a huge party to celebrate him becoming a member of the new Thai government. It's rumored that they are going to check the elephants for royal status. A local lady encourages Kham to take his elephants to participate in the competition. Kham reluctantly agrees to take part because he doesn't want to get separated from his beloved elephant, but also knows that it's the right thing to do. He apologizes to Poryai in advance if he's not able to see his calf, Corn, again. On the day of the festival, Kham and his father take Poryai to Mr. Suthep and his son, Koi. Strangely, Koi tells Kham to wait outside and takes the elephant and Kham's father inside the park, where they have kept other elephants. Meanwhile, Kham wanders around the market with the baby elephant and buys him a bell. The man-animal duo then enjoy blind boxing. However, Kham gets engrossed in the game, and the baby elephant wanders out on his own, following a group of mischievous children. At the park, one of Suthep's men makes Kham's father sign some papers that he can't read, and then asks him to go back home. Sensing that he's being fooled, Kham's father protests and attacks the MP's son. However, the latter becomes enraged and shoots the old man. This in turn angers the elephant, and he starts chasing the man and his henchmen. Amidst the chaos, a group of men kidnap the baby elephant, wandering outside, and take off. Kham eventually locates his father, and before he passes out, he tells Kham about Poryai. Meanwhile, the giant elephant spots the kidnappers and chases them throughout the city. However, the poachers dart the elephant and disappear with both the animals. A few days later, Kham's father eventually recovers, and they perform a traditional oracle ceremony, which is done to find lost souls. In the next scene, Kham somehow learns about Koi's whereabouts and raids his boathouse. The poachers attack him, and a long struggle follows. Kham is severely outnumbered, but he manages to beat up the bad guys. At last, Koi tries to shoot him, but Kham effortlessly confiscates his gun and intimidates him into revealing that the elephants are in the hands of Johnny, a Vietnamese gangster. Johnny works for the owner of a Thai restaurant named Tom Yum Goong in Sydney, Australia. Before Kham could leave, Mr. Suthep arrives and sends his goons after him both via air and water. However, Kham somehow evades all the guys and even manages to crash one of the enemy boats into the chopper. Let's see Bruce Willis do that. 2 weeks pass by, and the news of the transfer of the elephants to Australia spreads throughout the country, inviting protests from animal activists. Meanwhile, Mr. Witaya Themarat, owner of the Thai restaurant Tom Yum Goong, gets killed. It is believed that the motive of murder was Witaya's involvement with a Chinese mafia gang and many illegal activities that could lead to business conflict between them. The movie then cuts to Sydney, where police officers Mark, a Thai Australian, and his partner Rick are being filmed for a documentary. Mark is stationed in the Asian neighborhood of Sydney, where he knows everyone, including the thieves. Elsewhere, a Thai student named Pia is seen being threatened by a bunch of goons. It's revealed that Pia is the girlfriend of the late Mr. Wataya, and the goons are forcing her to be a call girl to pay her lover's debt. Next, a transgender member of the Chinese gang named Madame Rose is seen at a meeting with the gang's leader and her uncle, Mr. Sim. It becomes clear that she wants to become the head of security of the gang. However, Mr. Sim feels that she can't shoulder the responsibility and tells her to manage the restaurant instead, much to her dismay. Kham eventually arrives in Sydney. However, when he hails a cab and asks the driver, Jimmy, to take him to Tom Yum Goong, a couple of police cars suddenly start chasing Jimmy's car. It turns out Jimmy is a wanted thief posing as a taxi driver. Mark and his partner Rick also join the chase and eventually corner the thief, but he holds Kham at gunpoint. However, without the police's assistance, Kham confiscates Jimmy's gun and frees himself. Out of nowhere, a third policeman, Inspector Vincent, shows up and shoots the thief dead. It turns out Vincent has been following Kham since he left the airport. After the thief drops dead, he tries to shoot at Kham. However, he misses the shot, and Kham runs for his life. Puzzled by Vincent's actions, Mark questions him, but he argues that Kham was not a hostage and orders Mark and Rick to catch him. The duo oblige and start chasing Kham. Eventually, they capture him and drive towards the police station. In the car, Kham tells Mark that he is searching for his relatives, without revealing that the said relatives are actually elephants. Mark stops at the Tom Yum Goong restaurant to meet an acquaintance. There, Kham spots Johnny from inside the car and becomes erratic. He urges Mark and Rick to arrest Johnny, but Mark argues that he cannot because Kham is offering no proof of a crime. Left with no choice, Kham causes the car to crash and he escapes. He then follows Johnny to a bridge where the latter was set to meet Pia. Kham confronts Johnny and demands his elephants back. However, Johnny brushes him aside and orders his henchmen to take care of Kham before leaving. A battle ensues, and Kham easily overpowers the henchmen, prompting them to run away. As Kham goes after them, Pia warns him that he shouldn't mess with Johnny and his men. However, he ignores her advice and goes after one of Johnny's henchmen. He coerces him into leading him to Johnny's hideout, interrupting a drug deal. Outraged, Johnny summons countless extreme sports enthusiasts who arrive to fight Kham. They outnumber him and surround him on all sides. A long battle follows, but Kham once again triumphs. He then tries pursuing Johnny, but falls asleep in the alley due to extreme fatigue. Fortunately, Pia, who happens to pass by, notices him on the street and brings him to her apartment. Meanwhile, Mark and Rick are taken off the case for letting Kham escape from a police car. Instead, they are reassigned to help Vincent provide security for the police commissioner's meeting with Mr. Sim. Elsewhere, in his sleep, Kham dreams of an epic battle involving war elephants and the Jatarunkabart, the elephant protectors. Just then, Pia gets a call from the goons she owes money and decides to head out. After she leaves, Kham wakes up from his dream. He looks around Pia's apartment and notices her pictures with Johnny. Meanwhile, the local news starts reporting that Kham was involved in a drug deal in Sydney and he is wanted by the police. Pia hears the news on the street and proceeds to return back to her apartment, but she stops and watches from afar when she notices the cops arriving outside her place. Kham also notices the police from inside the apartment and climbs down the walls to escape. In the next scene, it's revealed that Pia is one of the dancers at the police commissioner's meeting with Mr. Sim, while Mark and Rick provide security outside the building, unaware of what's going on inside. As Pia is dancing, the commissioner gets overexcited and is compelled to seek his medicine to calm his heartbeat. When Pia goes to fetch the medicine, an armed assailant appears and shoots everyone dead except Pia. Upon hearing the gunshots, Mark and Rick immediately storm in and confront the man, but Vincent appears and takes down the killer before he can reveal anything. Suddenly, Vincent shoots Rick dead and frames Mark for the murder. He then orders his men to arrest Mark, but Mark manages to flee. The murder is caught on the commissioner's camera, and after Vincent and his men go after Mark, Pia grabs the camera and runs away. Vincent eventually captures Mark by luring him to an abandoned building, using a woman from his neighborhood. However, Vincent realizes that his men failed to take Pia out, and she has the commissioner's camera. After a bit of chasing, they eventually arrest her, but as they are about to take her to the police station, Kham comes to her rescue and saves her from the corrupt police. After being rescued, Pia tells Kham about the VIP area inside the Tom Yum Goong, and soon he reaches the place. He fights his way into the VIP area and reaches the dining hall at the top. There, Kham demands his elephants, but he is only met with the laughter of Johnny and his men, who also taunt him with Corn's bell. When Kham looks around, he notices bodies of several exotic animals and realizes that Vincent probably killed the elephants and served them to his customers. This enrages Kham, and he attacks Vincent and his men. A long battle follows, but just like always, Kham turns out victorious. He then enters the storage area of the restaurant and comes across various exotic animals ready to be butchered and eaten. Seeing this, Kham loses all hope, but just then he finds Mark tied inside a room. As he looks to escort his friend outside, he suddenly comes across his old friend, Corn. Seeing him, Kham gets ecstatic, and the trio soon leave the place in a truck, just before the police arrive. Meanwhile, Pia watches them leave from afar, but doesn't go after them. Elsewhere, during the announcement of the new leader of the Chinese gang, Madame Rose poisons the 2 other possible successors, making way for her ascent to the leadership position. Meanwhile, the news about the restaurant serving meat of endangered animals spreads like wildfire, and the police are forced to close the place. After being let down by Johnny once again, Inspector Vincent initiates a search for Kham and Mark, who are hiding in a Buddhist monastery. They eventually decide to leave the monastery to keep the goons from attacking it. However, soon after their departure, the monastery is set on fire by Vincent and his men. Believing that the temple and its inhabitants might be in danger, Mark and Kham decide to turn around and come back. When they arrive, Kham is confronted by 3 assassins: a fierce capoeirista, a sword-wielding wushu expert, and TK, a giant wrestler. Kham somehow defeats the capoeirista and the wushu expert, but TK proves too strong for Kham. As the giant is about to eliminate Kham, the police arrive, and Mark comes to help him flee. Meanwhile, Pia goes to the police and shows Mark's boss the video proof, which shows that it was Vincent and his men who killed the police commissioner and the other people. The next morning, Kham heads out with Corn, while Mark is discovered by several policemen and sent to deal with Inspector Vincent. Soon, Kham arrives at a hall where Madame Rose is having a press conference. Just then, Corn runs in, scaring off the crowd, and Kham starts engaging the gangsters. Elsewhere, Mark apprehends Vincent, and just as he is about to arrest him, Johnny arrives and fatally shoots Vincent. Mark is left stunned by the incident, but Johnny reveals that it was an act of revenge for something personal. In the next scene, Kham finds himself with Corn in a huge room, and he is shown the skeleton of poor Yai, encrusted with jewels as a gift to Madame Rose. This devastates Kham, and he starts having flashbacks of his time with the beloved elephant. However, he doesn't get much time to grieve, as Madame Rose's men attack him. Filled with vengeance, Kham attacks them more brutally than previously seen, by breaking many of the men's arms and legs. Sensing the danger, Madame Rose summons TK from the monastery, along with 3 other fighters. Although Kham tries his best to match the goons, he is easily outnumbered and subdued. Soon, TK throws Corn through a glass wall, while Kham is knocked into the elephant ornament, causing 2 leg bones to fall off. Kham realizes that the tendons are the most vulnerable and important part of an elephant to protect, and with this knowledge, he defeats the 4 brute wrestlers by using the sharp ends of the elephant bones to slice their tendons. He also stops Madame Rose before she can escape in a helicopter, and they both crash into the room below. Fortunately, Kham's fall is cushioned by Poryai's tusks. Back in the lobby, Mark meets his boss, Inspector Lamond, and gets forgiven by him. He is then given a new partner who speaks Thai. In the last scene of the movie, a narration from Mark is heard, with scenes of Kham's childhood shown. Mark explains that Thai people treat elephants like they are their brothers, and they hate people who hurt them. Thais love peace, but dislike people who take liberties. The movie ends as Kham finally embraces his best friend, Corn. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.